Dumplings are a famous traditional Chinese food, most typically depicted as a semicircular pasta shape with different types of fillings inside. In China, dumplings are a special food served particularly during Chinese New Year or Spring Festival in northern China. If eaten during New Year's, it brings one good luck, wishes, and fortunes, especially because the dumpling is shaped like an ingot, the currency used by the ancient Chinese.
When measuring flour, be sure to spoon the flour into the measuring cup until it overflows, then level off the top with a spoon. Scooping the flour directly from the container will pack the flour into the measuring cup, and you'll end up with more flour than necessary. Adding too much flour will make the dough extremely dry, and the dumpling skins will be much harder to work with. Kneading the dough is a process which helps gluten, an elastic substance, develop. Gluten is the binding force of dough, and after kneading, these elastic strands will make for a stronger pasta or bread. Kneading also allows air to enter the dough, making for a fluffier end result. Letting the dough sit allows for the gluten to relax, so the dough is then easier to work with and shape later on. Gluten was not known to the Chinese until wheat was introduced. The main grain grown and used in China before wheat was millet, a gluten-free grain that lacks the ability to form a cohesive mixture when cooked down. Bread and pasta cannot be created from millet, thus the Chinese generally ate the porridge or gruel that resulted from boiling it. After wheat was introduced to China, grinding wheat was still a difficult process, and they couldn't do it in bulk until the rotary mill came to Asia. It was only after the appearance of rotary mills from the Mediterranean in the 3rd century BC that the Chinese began grinding wheat to make flour. After the rotary mill, the Chinese were able to boil ground wheat as they did with millet, which resulted in pasta, noodles, and the predecessors of dumpling skins as we are using today.
For these dumplings, we chose to use chicken, which is an old world food, most likely originating from the Middle East and parts of India. While pork is used in traditional dumplings, the meat can be easily substituted to appeal to more audiences. For example, these dumplings would be a dish that could be served in India. While Hindu beliefs promote vegetarianism for religious purposes and forbid the consumption of beef, chicken is sometimes acceptable to segments of the population. Additionally, Muslims abstain from consuming pork, which they consider to be unclean. Thus, by switching the usual pork meat to chicken in our dumplings, this can be an example of local adaptation. The beauty of dumplings lies in their versatility and their ability to cater to existing food preferences and traditions of a local area. Dumpling filling also requires napa, a type of mild-tasting Chinese cabbage originating near Beijing. It is widely used in East Asian cuisine and is a staple in this traditional Chinese dish. But it can also be found all over the world and have been locally adapted to many different tastes. For example, napa can be seasoned to make kimchi to be served as a spicy and pungent dish in Korea. Dumplings are essentially filled pasta, thought to have originated from northwest China. The first concrete evidence of this dish appeared in the ancient 3rd century poem, Shu Xi's Ode to Being. Being now refers to things like bread and cake, but it originally meant any type of doughy food, and dumpling skins fall into this category, since the skin is usually made of wheat flour and water paste. On the inside, dumplings can be filled with many different ingredients. Dumplings are not limited to Chinese cuisine, and many variations exist both within and outside of China. Around the world, these filled pastas go by a variety of different names. In China, the people refer to them as jiaozi, but they used to be called mantou. Linguistic analysis of the name can also show us more about the history of dumplings. As we travel away from China, alternative names of dumplings include manti, momo, and mandu. Since we know dumplings first originated from China and were named mantou, we can see that the term has become a loan word in many different cultures to refer to similar dishes, despite the Chinese themselves now calling them jiaozi.
So who was responsible for bringing dumplings to Europe? The infamous, the notorious, the grandfather of all, Genghis Khan. This great hero led a nomadic conquest responsible for bringing the dumpling dish to Western Eurasia by the 14th century. As the Mongol king conquered the neighboring countries in Central Asia, he also acted as a cultural broker who helped diffuse food, traditions, and even people across Eurasia. As dumplings spread, it evolved to fit local palates, and by taking a look at variations of dumplings around the world, the effects of local adaptation are clear. One example is ravioli, which appeared around the 14th century. Ravioli is commonly filled with cheese, and this demonstrates local adaptation to Italian tastes. This type of filling would have never appeared in Chinese dumplings due to widespread lactose intolerance in the region. Other examples of filled pasta include pierogies, tortellini, and Turkish manti, all foods with genealogical connections to our Chinese dumpling.
Chinese dumplings are boiled but can also be pan-fried. In America, they are known as pot stickers, which literally means stuck to the wok. This name comes with an interesting story of origin. It is rumored that a chef accidentally invented pot stickers when he was trying to boil dumplings in a wok, but forgot about them and the dumplings stuck to the wok and became crispy. This crispy dish has become an integral part of American Chinese cuisine. At American Chinese restaurants, deep-fried pot stickers are served along with many other presumably unauthentic Chinese dishes like orange chicken and broccoli with beef. However, when not deep-fried, pot stickers have an air of authenticity, and it is a food that can be recognized by many native Chinese people. Lightly pan-frying dumplings is a technique that people in northern China have used since the Song Dynasty. Additionally, pot stickers can be nowadays found in Hong Kong dim sum restaurants, as well as a street food all over China.
In ancient times, the Chinese did not view soy products as a good protein alternative to meat and failed to see the nutritional benefits of soy. Despite the distaste towards soy in the past, soy sauce is one of the most popular soy products used in Chinese dishes. Soy sauce is essentially made from fermented soybeans. Fermentation refers to employing yeast, bacteria, or fungi to alter the chemical composition of food, and has benefits of increasing flavor, decreasing toxicity, and improving digestibility, among many others. The ancient Chinese steamed the beans and mixed them with other grains, then added brine and fermented the mixture in a jar. Adding other ingredients like meats, pepper, wine, or oil flavored the sauce. The Japanese went on to alter the method of fermentation and made their own version of soy sauce. Instead of using moldy soybeans as a fermenting agent, they used moldy grains, which resulted in a lighter sauce. This is actually an example of cultural appropriation, in which the Japanese took an aspect of Chinese culture and created their own interpretation. Either way, soy sauce is now an immensely popular seasoning used all across Asia.
Making dumplings clearly requires dedication. We rolled out the dough, mixed the tasty filling, somewhat mastered the art of pleating, and cooked the dumplings to perfect tenderness. This Chinese dish, though difficult at first, is a breeze once you get the hang of it. The best thing about dumplings, however, is that you can make them fit your own tastes. If you're vegetarian, make a filling of chopped Chinese chives and rice noodles. If you like a heavier flavor, use pork and mushrooms or add spices. Additionally, you can dip dumplings in many different sauces. Soy sauce and vinegar are traditional options. But if you are feeling adventurous, try adding garlic or sriracha to add even more excitement to the meal. Dumplings are an amazing, adaptable, and delicious dish. They are one of the most widely loved foods all over the world. When one thinks of dumplings, so many things come to mind. There's excitement, family unity, happiness, and celebration.